यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ शोकामयत बहुस्यां प्रजायेति सतपोतप्यत सतपस्तप्त्वा इदगुं सर्वम् असृजत यदिदं किञ्च तत्सृष्ट्वा तदेवानुप्राविशत् तदनुप्रविश्य सच्चत्यच्छाभवत् निरुक्तञ्च निरुक्तञ्च निलयनञ्च निलयनञ्च विज्ञानञ्च विज्ञानञ्च सत्यञ्च नृतञ्च सत्यम् अभवत् यदिदं किञ्च तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते तदप्येष श्लोको भवति। So we are here for the last 5 weeks, I think, just in this mantra, because this is a very, very profound, it's a mantra which talks about the creation process. So we are trying all possible ways of trying to understand this mantra. So we are in the midst of this discussion of the creation process. As I have been saying, any creation requires, any creation, you make this table, you manufacture anything, any creation requires these two, the nimitta karanam, which is the intelligent cause, and the upadana karanam, which is the material cause. You need a carpenter or a know-how. If you don't like the word carpenter, know-how. You need a know-how, which is called the intelligent cause, and you need the raw material. Otherwise, no creation is possible. So this Shruti is actually very tactfully trying to argue both. It says Brahman is both the Nimitta Karanam as well as the Upadana Karanam. That's where we have been trying different things in the last 3-4 weeks. Actually, what we are experiencing, at least personally I am experiencing, I am sure you are also, is this whole discussion is very bewildering. I think because we are talking about creation, and it's, it goes all over the place. We are not able to sort of very concretely grasp it. And this is a very, very complicated process, not just for the ordinary mortals like us. I think particle scientists, they are also more or less saying, of course they come with a different understanding, with a different paradigm they are coming, but they are also saying that things are not that easily explainable. And if you think a little bit more, the reason is not too far-fetched. The reason is we have shifted to the boundary of a concept called, we are trying to shift to a boundary of the concept called infinity. How can you go to a boundary to a concept called infinity? This is a fundamental problem, please understand. I don't know whether there is a boundary for infinity, but we are trying to find that. This is where the creation process is getting complicated. There is something called infinity and we want to see the boundary. Or there is something called infinity, we want to see how infinity starts and how infinity ends. This doesn't make sense. but still it makes sense in the context of the discussion. I think that's where the problems are. We are not able to, because our normal science and math cannot allow us to reconcile infinity with a beginning and an end, because they're not going to work. So that is where I think some of these problems are. How can you find starting conditions and boundary conditions for something which is nothing but infinity? I think that seems to be the problem. So the very communication will be complex. The very attempt to even understand it will have its own attendant challenges. So that is what we are trying in the last 3-4 weeks, trying to put a value to it from the Shruti, whatever it says, from the commentaries available, we are trying to make a little more sense of that. So in the process of discussing all these, last class we ended by looking at the dreaming process. We are all dreaming every day. When you sleep, if not every day, often. Let me not say every day. Certainly, dream is something which we go through. Swapna. So we started seeing it in the last class. Towards the end I did that. We will go to it again so that we have the continuity. But the point is, there is a very interesting thing which we need to reflect. What is happening in the microcosm is actually a reflection of what is happening in the macrocosm. Leave the dreaming. In general, I think we can relate to this idea. Whatever happens in the pinda must be a reflection of what is happening in the anda. That's how it is, many of them. So therefore, the notion of creation, the notion of world, all that, all of us have our own world. Please understand. My world is different from your world. Each one of us have a different world. I am not talking fancy, I am talking reality. My world is very different from your world. That is why the Sanskrit word, one of the Sanskrit word for world is loka. Lokr is the dhatu. Darshane, lokr darshane. What you see is your world. That is why it is called loka. A creature with 5 indriyas understands world differently. A creature with 3 indriyas notion of world is very different. Snake's world may not have eye, seeing, it may have sound. So its world is different from. So even if you take these 30-40 of us sitting here, each one of our world is different. It is conditioned by our mental model, our frame of mind, our understanding, our mental disposition at this point in time. All of them determine our world. So honestly, each one of us, by every moment, we are creating our world. That is the meaning. We are creating our own world. If you and I can create a world and destroy it at our whims and fancies, and one of the grand world we create is dreams. That's where we'll go to the dream again. We'll go to that. But think about this possibility. If you and I, who have with our own limited power and understanding, can create a world and destroy it also at our own will, some larger force, you call it God, you call it whatever you want to call, can it not do? As only we can do. We are creating world by the moment and destroying it. So that is why what is happening at a microcosm level can in a way map to the macrocosm. So that is where we started looking at the dreaming process. So we'll look at the dream and understand the mechanics of the dream and the logic of the dream. Maybe there is a one-to-one mapping to the creation process, which is what some of the arguments are being made. So we were seeing the dreaming process. I will go over it again. Yeah. So first of all, just to quickly recapitulate, think of any dream. The dream is my dream is my projection. It is not your projection. It's so individual. My dream is different from your dream. It projected from me. So it is a projection from us. Point number 1. We create the dream. Each one of us create our own dream. And each one of us enter into it. I am the architect of the dream, I am the director, I am the hero, I am all the players in the dream are myself. So I write the script, I conceptualize the story, I write the script, I direct it, I became the actors in this dream, and I play the dream, I also see it. This is a very complex Mayajal that we are going through. Highest order of Mayajal is dream. Because just by closing your eyes at night 12 o'clock, you can actually take a flight and go to New York. What better Mayajal you need? You have to create an airport, you have to create an Airbus A380 non-stop flight, so much we will do. This is the power of the dream, please understand. We take it for granted. Right? As long as we are the wakers, we identify with this Sthula Sharira. When we are in the waking state, this is all we identify. We identify with the Sthula Sharira. Not only this, Sthula, Sukshma, everything. I am saying more directly we identify with the Sthula Sharira, this gross body. Correct? Why I am saying that? Because only when you lose your gross body, only when you lose your consciousness of your gross body, can you enter into a dream world. In dream world there is no gross body. You will run, but not with your legs. You will shout at somebody, not with your mouth, but you will shout. You will vouch for it also. Okay, it is part of the dream. So, for the purpose of the dream, now I have become the creator. I have usurped the role of a creator. I am the Lord now. I have created this world. Going to New York, going to the airport, catching the flight, air hostess giving me a food which I don't like. So many things will come. I manufacture food also. I taste it and I say it is not good also. All these are part of the dream. So we have a whole wherewithal to create the universe in our dream. If you and I can create universe, why can't God create universe? If you and I can do it, why are we having an iota of doubt that somebody more powerful cannot do? If we can do, at the dead night of the day, if we are able to create a world, maybe the universe God can also create. And why did we create the new world? Because transaction has to happen in that world, not in this world. Dream transactions have to happen in a world that is called dream world. Dream transactions, so that world is created for transaction. So what is the message? If you have to transact, you need a world. That's the most important message. If you have to transact, you need a world. If you don't need to transact, you don't need a world. That's called Sushupti. In Sushupti, it is deep sleep. Everything is destroyed. Even this world is not there. Dream world is not there. No world is there. Because we chose not to transact. So the message here is, if we are in the business of transacting, we need a world. So if you have to transact in dream, you need a dream world. If you have to transact in the waking field, you need a world for the waking field. These are two fields of experience. Yes? So to play out in that dream world, we can't do with this body. Sthula Sharira is of no use. So you create another Sharira. That Sharira only runs. That Sharira talks. That Sharira cries. All that Sharira does. So that is called Sukshma Sharira. So we are able to manufacture my alter ego, a clone of myself, which is a soft copy, not a hard copy. It's a soft copy. I am able to manufacture. And the waker becomes a product. I myself will see myself. I become no longer a creator, but I am one of the object in the dream. In the dream, I will be actually giving a talk. So my giving a talk is not a subject now, it has become an object now. Here it may be a subject. In the dream it has become an object. I can also see it. Difference between subject and object is, object can be seen, subject is available only for Anubhava. Subject is beyond Indriyas. Object is within the domain of Indriyas. That is the difference between subject and object. A subject is only Anubhuti. You can only experience yourself. If you have to see, in a mirror you don't see you see an object of yourself for which you need Indriyas. In the dream you see your object. So you become, the creator becomes the object now. Then there are a few more rules. Once we are into the dream, We are not creators, but one of the actors. Just now I mentioned this. We are no longer the creator. Into the dream. You step outside the dream, I can say I am the creator. Once you step into the dream world, you are not a creator. You are one of the actors. You are part of the show. That is the other important thing we have to understand, which means it is possible that a creator, each one of them has implication. Please think about it. It is possible that a creator can lose his or her identity and become an actor. That is a possibility we are talking now. Dream is telling us it is possible. You can lose you can have forgetfulness of your role as a creator and you will become an actor, which is what is happening in the dream. Yes? Both the waker, who is the creator of the dreaming personality, and the dreamer, who is the created personality, are actually one and the same. But they don't meet each other. They live in two different worlds. They don't merge. They are in two different worlds. When this is there, that is not there. When that is there, this is not there. But they are the same. Because you are not creating my dream. I am only creating my dream. So I am the creator, I am the created. But I maintain my identities very differently and then I stay away. Right? The last interesting thing is, we are able to destroy the entire dream world once we choose to wake up. Or once we choose to go into Sushupti. Somewhere we seem to have a power. Some process works and then we come to a conclusion. That's all. Destroy the world. I don't need the world anymore. So I am the creator, I am the destroyer also. I choose. I choose to destroy it and then get out of it. Either into deep sleep or I wake up. This is another thing that is happening. The dream appears real. I am using the word appears real because, we all know dream is not real, but it appears real. Why? Because in the dream, think of a dream. The dream is, there is a pauper. There is this fellow who is begging in the signal for money. He is having a dream. His dream is that he won a lottery, he got some $100 million. This is the dream he is going through. So his Manoratha is now running at a terrific speed. So now he has planned for the $100 million. That dream goes on. The dream goes on and on and on. And then once that part of the dream, what happens is that he has kept a few $1,000 either in the bank became bankrupt, or he kept in his house and some thief came, and then that time you get up. That thief gets up, there is sweat on his forehead. Because that shows there is an element of reality. It's not real, but it pretends to be real, because otherwise why did you wake up? You had a connectivity to that emotion. There is a stream of connection. So this is the next level of Mayajal. You create a Mayajal and you are able to even make it almost real. That's why you had this sweat on your forehead and you got up. Only to find out that I am hungry and I don't even have a good dress to wear. Pauper is now woken up. Correct? So it appears real. It is not real, but it appears real. This is another important thing about the dream. Then the last point is the most important point. If you ask me who am I? If you ask me who am I, it is a function of what I want to associate myself with. If I want to associate myself with the dream world, I should say I am the dreamer. I am that alter, that virtual reality. On the other hand, if I choose to associate myself with the waking world, then I'll say I am so and so. So the pauper has to say I am a pauper or I am a millionaire, depending upon what does he wants to associate with. So it looks like that choice is also there. Although we wake up and then we destroy one choice and then come to the other choice. Within the dream world, while you are in the dream world, you have two choices. You have to decide where to associate. All these we don't think in the dream. I am only analyzing it a little bit. So this is what is true of any dream. You take any dream, you analyze, you will get to these rules. Now let us see what is the relationship of this dream to the Lord's creation process. Assume for the moment you did not create the dream. Who created the dream then? I am willing to go with your argument. You did not create the dream. If somebody created the dream and then had an injection through which they put it into you, who created this dream? So who owns that mind? Who is having that mind at their disposal? So real I is creating. You may ask, who is that I? That's a different question. But the point is, my dream you cannot create. Your dream I cannot create. My dream you cannot experience. Your dream I cannot experience. You can narrate. If you narrate it, I may listen to it. I cannot experience. Since you experienced, Anubhuti is something which is on the Adhisthana. It's on the substratum, not on what is viewed on. See, Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Bhutas, these are all layered on some substratum. Kutastha. That Kutastha is, for each one of us there is a I. So that I must have done this. So while I'm willing to go with your argument, if I'm not able to find who else created the dream, I have to come back here. I only created the dream. I don't think anybody else created the dream.
The dream, who switches off the dream? Either we move to Sushupti or we wake up. So the manas is active when we are dreaming, right? So is it the manas which switches it off, or?
No, so how can manas switch off itself? Moment you use the word switch off, then we are saying there is an object. So the object must be operated upon by some subject. So again, see, we are using the word I because we are still not clear what that I is, but logically it looks like somebody else is switching off. Somebody else is switching off. So in the absence of anything we are saying I. So the manas is shut off. Manas is not getting shut off by itself. Because if we go with that argument, then it's a much deeper problem. Then I have no control on an apparatus which I am not able to control. If it can, assuming there is an apparatus, it will automatically switch on and switch off, then we have a problem. So even that argument will become difficult for me. So therefore I must be switching it off. Some I. Again, she is not switching off my manas.
So we need to eliminate all the facets of I.
Exactly. See, there was one Sishya went to Shankaracharya as he was sort of walking. So he asked him about brightness and light. The shlokas I'm not able to remember by heart, otherwise I would love to actually recite those shlokas. Anyway, so he said, what is the source of light? So this Shankaracharya kept on, he never replied, he kept on answering. He counter-questioned. He said, what is the source of light now? He said, the sun. Okay. What is the source of light in the night? He said, the moon. Okay. Then Shankaracharya asked, what is the source of light when you are dreaming? Because there is also, you see a floodlit match also. So there is so much light which is being lit. So all these arguments are of that variety. So when you keep on inquiring these, you will find you will have to get rid of this and something else will remain finally. So that must be the I. So something like that. So if you take the dreaming process and put the creation of the universe on the other side, there seems to be a one-to-one, sort of a parallel. The waker projects it out of himself or herself. Vedanta says that the Brahman projects the universe out of itself. So when I can do it, somebody else must also be able to do it. If you can project something out of you, it may look virtual. So that's why people argue that this world itself is at one level virtual. If you reach that level of understanding, you will find this is virtual. We thought it is real and we are going around it, as much we did in the dream. That's another argument people are making actually. Right?
About the waking state.
They say it's just a dream.
Yeah, it is a dream.
That's why Shankaracharya said,
Who is dreaming?
Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Once you, of course, until you reach the truth, you can't. See, in Gaudapada, in Karikas, in Mandukya Karika, this is very nicely explained, Gaudapada's argument, that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya has no meaning for us, because Jagat is real for us. We are all, because we are transacting. That's why I said you need a world for transaction. The day you choose to wake up from this cosmic sleep, you will now actually, there's a complex argument going like that. We can't make sense of it now because we are not able to At least some axioms you are able to understand. You choose not to transact, the world is irrelevant for you. There are a few things we can count on. So Brahman creates and enters into it. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti satapo tapyata satapas taptva idagum sarvam asrijita tadevanu pravishati. He entered into it. He said, let me create this dream of a much bigger thing. Okay? He created it, entered into it as much. We entered, as a waker, we created the dream and we got into it. Right? One more world is created to experience and transact. So Brahman said, I want to transact now. So let me create a world called Jagat. So it is Brahma Leela. We are all, in his dream we are playing. So at this reality we are real. As much as in the dream reality everything was real. So we are in the dream reality of the Brahman.
So we say Jagat Mithya and we say Tadevanu Pravishati. That means Mithya contains Brahman. So then is it Mithya?
Okay. In fact, this particular paragraph for about 100 hours we can keep on going. Honestly. For example, I didn't want to, but it's free, I will not get into the arguments. There is another logical question he is asking. In fact, that question has several other complications. Tadeva anupravishate. Tat eva anupravishate. The Brahman entered into it. Now the first question is, you said ekameva dvitiyam Brahman. World, Brahman is one. If there is one, how can it enter into itself? That kind of question will come. So all those, the argument there is, you can't figuratively under it. So the usage there, entering into it is sort of a cliche. It is a proxy to say it started manifesting itself. So water was there. Moment you put the water into a Bisleri bottle, it manifests differently and it costs 12 rupees, 20 rupees also. So the there are many such arguments, and I will not get into those arguments. It's very deep. Only to say, yes, it cannot be myth. So it are all different metaphorical descriptions of these. It's more a manifestation, names and forms and that kind, which are temporary in their. So the myth, the only understanding of myth there is anything which is temporary has to be myth. You see in the desert mirage, you see a reflection. When you go near it, it is not. It is myth because you see it, but it is not there when you go near it. So when you go near the Brahman, this world will cease to make sense and cease to show itself as a world of multiplicity. At that level, it will become those kinds of things are there. Like that. So it's a larger waking. It's a much bigger waking that we are talking about. So one more world is created for our dream. So the Brahman also says, I want to transact now. So let me create a world that is called Jagat. And how do you create dream? Because of Manas. As he said, if you switch off the Manas or somebody switches off the Manas, dream is not possible. So you need an apparatus to create. That apparatus is called Manas. For individual, if you have to dream, you need Manas. For a person who has lost his Manas, dream cannot happen. In Sushupti, that is what is happening. So Brahman now also needs an apparatus. That apparatus is called Maya. Maya Prakriti. So as long as Brahman has a property called Maya, it will create the world. As long as we have Manas with us, we will be able to create a dream world. So the apparatus that Brahman uses is called Maya, with which it actually transacts this world, creates this world and gets into the transaction. So looking at the dreaming process, sometimes we may be able to make a little sense of perhaps it is of a reality of a larger variety. And the parallels are helping us. See, the analogy, whenever we do Upama should not be extended, all over the place. You can't say he is a lion of all people. You should not ask where is his tail. Because Upama is not meant for lion, means you cannot bring all the properties of lion and then look for it. He is like the steel to the organization. You cannot ask, give me, I will check I have metallurgy knowledge. I will check the properties of steel, you can't say. Steel means, there is a certain property of steel which is mapping. So in the same way, there are properties which are mapping. You can't then, do that kind of a thing. So that's what, it is Vidyaranya in his Panchadashi. There are some shlokas on creation. I thought I will because this analogy helps us to understand these shlokas. Look at this shloka. It says, Maya vrityatmakaha hi isha sankalpaha sadhanam jano. He says to create this world, jana is used in a loose sense of the term, to create this world. Isha sankalpa is apparatus called Maya. That's what it is saying. Maya vritti atmakaha. He, indeed, Isha sankalpaha. Sankalpa of the Isha. To do what? Sadhanam, for Jano, to create this so-called earth. And then he says, Mano vrityatmakaha jiva sankalpaha. For individuals, so from the macrocosm, if you come to microcosm, the equivalent apparatus is manas. Mana vritti. When the vritti of the manas happens, dream will come. So manas vrityatmakaha jiva sankalpaha boga sadhanam. Dream is a sort of a boga. It's one kind of a boga where we are able to leave the dream. This whole world, he is broad-basing the argument. So far I am talking about dream. He has broad-based the argument. He says the world of experience will map unto you only when you have a manas. Boga sadhanam is not just the boga in dream. In the waking state also, you need the manas for consuming the world. If the manas is gone, not only dream is gone, the world will disappear. So that's what he is trying to, he is broad-basing the argument, saying that's a kind of parallel that you need to understand. About manas, he said manas is all, our world is our manas. That he beautifully brings out with a couple of examples. Asatapi cha bhakhyarte swapnado badhyate naraha. Something which is clearly asat, non-existence, but that ties you in a swapna. That's why that beggar got up because he lost his money. So he was shaken out of sleep and he got up. It is asat. Still he was bounded by that in the swapna. Right? That's what he is saying. Asatyapi cha bhakhyarte swapnado badhyate naraha samadhi supti murchasu. If you are swooned or you are in samadhi, if you are in sushupti, even sat will not affect you. The so-called whatever existence you claim will not even affect you. So the notion of sat and asat doesn't have an absolute existence. That is the point we have to understand. The notion of sat and asat does not have an absolute existence. That depends on the manas. Manas decides what is sat and what is asat. Because in swapna, an asat is made a sat. In a sushupti, so-called sat at one level becomes asat, non-existent. Then he gives this nice example. He says, Dura desham gate putre jivati ityeva atra tat pita. The son is not dead. He is okay. He is far away. Somebody told he is dead. He is not dead. Some wrong news came. Dura deshe gate putre jivati eva atra tat pita. What happens to his father? Vipralambaka vakyena. Somebody gave a wrong message. Genuinely some miscommunication, think like that. It says Vipralambaka vakyena mritam matva prarodati. He gets into grief. So a non-reality has become a reality through an apparatus called manas. Manas only processes this. This information is processed only by the manas. And then he gives a counter example. Mritepi tasminna Vartayam ashruyatam narodati. Actually, on another occasion, the son is dead. But he hasn't heard. He is, see, until we hear a bad news, we are all okay. Suppose if there is a bad news, until we hear the bad news, it didn't affect us. Only when the bad news came, it affected us. So the window is the manas. So our world is, so what he is saying is, don't, make absolute references to the world. Your world is conditioned by your manas. Manas is the conduit through which you see the world. Your notion of world, your creation of the world. Creation of the world is through a mirror to a conduit called manas. That's what he says. Ataha sarvasya jivasya bandakrit manasam jagat. So the world born out of the mind is what finally ties you. So much for the world we know. So that dream process and all that is linked to these shlokas. So at the end of the day, that's why people say, address your mind. Because your world is a function of your mind. So if you can't address your mind, you can't change the world. You can't go anything and then do anything outside. That's why Adi Shankaracharya in his Dakshinamurti Stotra, he says, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nija Antargatam Pashyan Atmani Mayaya. The world that you see outside, the world is a mirror. Vishwam Darpanam. The world is a huge mirror. Drishyamanya Tulyam. It is, allows you to see what? Nija Antargatam. The mind is actually controlling you to make sense of the world, understand the world, transact to the world. It's just a mirror. If you don't clean up inside, nothing is going to happen outside. So that is what is coming through this. Then I went through a little bit of, Divakar ji asked me to push me into a little bit of Bhagavatam, because all these Puranas have the creation process explained. Of course, Puranas come from a different perspective. They need not strictly be Vedantic. They have Vedanta ideas, but they also have other ideas. So if you look at Srimad Bhagavata Puranam, of the 12 skandhas, the second skandha is very short, just about 12 chapters. But in that, as you might know, the whole thing starts by, of course, the Parikshit wants to hear the story. That's the background. But then the story starts by, Uddhava asking Vidura. Krishna left some instructions, and finally, Vidura was asked to go and see Maitreya. So he makes his journey. That's how Bhagavatam starts. So in the second canto, Uddhava reaches to Maitreya, and then he asks him about creation. So that's how it starts. So in second canto, there is one chapter in which it is explained in a very sort of a concise way. But in the third book of Bhagavatam, the same question is being explained there are about 12 chapters, first 12 chapters. But there is, from one chapter I have profusely quoted. The time, 10 power 17 human years, all those are from the 11th chapter of the third, wonderful chapter. Again, Vidura and Maitreya's conversation, he asks about time. In the creation process, he asks about time. So before that, he asked about how did it get created. So there is a vivid description, and it is a fair amount of detail. It says how it started. It was, he was in Yoga Nidra, and how, the Vishnu came out of Yoga Nidra, and then a lotus emerged out of his navel. That kind of, it's a different kind of, but many of things are common. Then he talks about how there are 3 things required for creation. You need Bhuta, elemental, then Guna, then Maya, like that. There are some properties are all established, and then in a way it explains. Then the first step, it says there are 10-fold creation that happened. One chapter in third book talks about 10-fold creation. So I will just talk about only that. This is a very, so it gave me an opportunity to read once again. So he talks about 10-fold creation. I will just talk about only that part of it. So he says, Yatha idanim tatagre cha paschadapi etad idrisham, how the world is today. That's how it was before, that's how it will be later also. That's how he starts by saying, Idanim, Agre, Paschat. Now, earlier, later also, it goes through the same process, is how he says, Sargaha Navavidaha Tasya Prakruto Vaikritastu. Prakriti and Vikriti. He talks about 2, Prakriti and Vikriti. The primordial cause is called Vikriti. Then the Maya is called Prakriti, because you need a Maya as an apparatus to do it. He says, with Prakriti I did some 9 type of creation. It is a 10th creation which is jointly done by Prakriti and Vikriti. So that's how the shlokas explains. So he says, Kala Dravya Gunai, not Junai, Gunai. Kala Dravya Gunaihi Asya Trividaha Prati Sankramaha. You need these 3 basic material for creation, he says. Time, Guna, which comes out of Prakriti, and Dravya, some elementals. With that, the whole creation is done. Adyastu Mahataha. First creation was called Mahat, the cosmic intelligence. The Nimitta Karana, the intelligence, know-how. Without know-how, how can you create? So the first creation he did was the know-how, which is called Mahat. Mahat principle, the cosmic intelligence. He said that is the first one. Because it has Guna and Vishaya. Guna Vaishya Manaha. So it has all that is required. The know-how part is the first one that has to be created. Without know-how, how can you create anything? Right? Dvitiyastu Aham. then it created a concept called ahankar. Because in order to transact this world, you need a substratum on which you have to layer everything. That substratum is ahankar. Without that ahankar, it's not going to work. So the second creation that it did is ego. Because yatra, in that place, it is that playground in which dravya jnana kriyadeha, the elemental, the jnana and the work, everything has to happen. You need some playground on which you have to do. That's called ahankar. The ahankar which is pushes the creativity and the activity of that kind that we need.
This is not individual ego. This is the wholesome ego.
The first, it is the first, out of which it comes. Even to do that, you need all these conditions. Then bhuta sarga tritiyastu tanmatra. Then it creates the basic elementals, tanmatras, pancha tanmatras. So that was the third creation. See, if you look at chemistry, it is no different. You may say plastic, you may say metal, you may say aluminium. There is an elemental for all of them. If you go to periodic table and then you go to that, that SPDF and all that, you go into that level, finally there is an elemental there. It's all protons and neutrons and subatomic particles and mesons and now subatomic, all those people are talking. So it is saying, I am creating that basic building blocks and the know-how. With that only you can create anything. Correct? So that's what the third is tanmatras. Chaturtham indriyaha sargaha. Yastu jnana kriyatmakaha. If you have to transact a process of knowing and doing, you need indriyas. So that was the fourth one which was created. Okay? Vaikarikaha devasargaha panchamo. This Vaikarika is presiding deities of all indriyas. It's a very elaborate list. For every Indriya there is a presiding deity. Sun for the eyes, like that. Manas for the Indra, for the moon for the Manas, for Bahu, like that. We discussed it earlier in one of the things. So the whole deities are created. Shashtastu tamasas sargaha. Then the sixth creation is a concept of tamas, because it has to create these ripples in your ability to comprehend. You have to create varieties, na? So it says, yes, yat tu abuddhi kritaha prabho. It has to do the buddhi the other way. So that is the tamas. So that is the sixth. Shadime prakritaha sargaha vaikritanapi me shrinu. So these six have come out of Prakriti, from the Prakriti. Ime prakritaha sargaha. All these have come out of Prakriti. Then he says, now I will talk about from Vikriti what did come. Right? So in fact these six, if you see, will be the part of Kshetra in Bhagavad Gita. Kshetra and Kshetrajna, we are saying the Kshetra will have all these. These are all Prakriti. Yes, it is all Para and Apara Prakriti. From the Para Prakriti, the Apara Prakriti is also coming, which are all temporary and dissolve and so on. This is Para Prakriti from which it is happening and so on. Then he says, Rajo Bajo Bhagavato Lileyam Harimedasaha. So this Brahman, which had one of the things in Bhagavatam, it says, is if this color palette called Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, if it is in perfect equilibrium, nothing will happen. When you disturb the equilibrium, only things start. If it is in perfect equilibrium, nothing. It will be motionless. So he says, to get into activity in that cosmic intelligence and that Brahman, it got into a Rajo, a majority of Rajo was created so that it will force it into activity. Without Rajas, activity is not possible. If somebody don't have Rajas, they can't do activity. Activity is driven by Rajas. Chapter 14 so beautifully explains in Bhagavad Gita, if you look at it. It's like a nice thesis. It nicely explains, introduces the gunas, what it does, what are the pros and cons, everything is nicely explained. So it says, it is Bhagavad Leela, and the Leela came because the Rajo, the balance the balance was gone. These are all Leela. It created too much of Rajas into itself, so that it got into, Soka Maheta came because of that. The Kama comes only when there is Rajas. He says, in chapter 3 Bhagavad Gita, he said, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha. That's what he said. Kama will come only when you have Rajas. Otherwise, Kama is not possible. So that's what he says. Saptamaha mukhya sargastu Shadvida Stutushamcha. Stutu is immovable. Stutusham. It says the seventh creation is 6 types of immovables. Immovable. So what are those 6 types? The 6 types are as follows. Trees which bear fruits without flowering. Banyan tree, Ashwatha tree, that's one type. Second, annual plants. What it means is after it flowers, it will die. A banana tree or so many cereals, paddy, wheat, or all of that variety. There is a maturity. After that, it will die. After it fructifies, over. That's the second variety. Third variety are creepers, which need the support of a tree and then go. Fourth variety are plants with hard bark, bamboo kind of thing. There's no flower, nothing. It's a hard bark, and it's all Vamsavriksha. It comes by itself. In fact, it neither have flowers, but it will reproduce because it's all root parasite. Sandalwood is like that. Sandalwood is a root parasite, actually. Then you have creepers which can go only on the ground. Pumpkin, kumbhalakai, all those, you can't put it on, So that is the fifth variety they are talking about. Sixth variety is trees which bear fruit after blossoming. Mango, neem. Every year there is a season of blossoming and fruit, but it will continue like that. So those are the 6 types of non-movables, which are tree kingdom, plant kingdom. That is the 7th creation. Then Tirascha-ashtama, Tiraha are the animals. Tiryag, they are all horizontal, that's why it's called Tira. We are vertical. Animals are horizontal. They can't grow vertically. Only when the chimpanzee got up, it became human being. That's why they are Tiras, they are called Tiraha, because Tiryak. They are not like this. Tirascha ashtama sargaha, and there are 28 varieties. Ashtavimshado gataha. I don't have the reason, it's too long, I don't want to leave the 28 varieties. Anyway, there are 28 varieties of animals. And it says, how are these? They are avidaha, they don't have the sense of comprehension. That intellect is not there, that discriminatory power is not there. They are driven by instinct and so on. Tamas and all that, those are all explained. That's the 8th creation. Then Arvakastrotastu Navamaha. These are all ones to which nutrients flow downwards. That is, Arvakastro is that actually. So this is basically, I think it is pointing to the human beings, I think. I will have to really understand this clearly. He says, in which Rajas is more, it's human beings. It is talking about human beings. Raja to Adhikaha, they are impelled into action. And moment Raja comes, then, it is buy one, take one free. Take Dukkha, Sukha is free. Or take Sukha, Dukkha is free. It's buy one, take one free offer actually. So both will come. Karma Paraha, Dukkecha, Sukhamaninaha. So these 9 are created. Then the 10th one are the celestial entities, Sanat, Sanat Kumara, Sanatana, and Sanantaka, and the celestial entities. That is done both by Prakriti and Vikriti. So that's how it is explained. The 10th one is explained. It says Charanas, so many celestial, there is a whole Nagas and Yakshas, Rakshakas, so many are there. They are all created as the 10th. So this is how it explains, and then it goes on into time, how time is created. That's why the 1000 Yuga cycles, all those are following this chapter. Now this is explained, Purusha Sukta is a very famous sukta which explains the creation process. Purusha Sukta explains, each one of them have taken a different position, that's all. They have all come to explaining it in their own metaphorical ways. Purusha Sukta is a very celebrated sukta in Rigveda. And the way it is arguing is, it is like a great yajna which is done. In that yajna, this Brahman as a Purusha is given as Ahuti. It becomes the Ahuti, it comes out of it, and what are all the things came out of that Purusha. So it has taken that position. And it has tried to explain. So I'll quickly, a few mantras. In Purusha Sukta, I will just show you. So he says, Purusha evetagam sarvam yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam utamritatvasya shanaha yatannena nirohati yata annena atirohati. It says, Purusha evetagam sarvam, everything is that Purusha only. That cosmic intelligence and that primordial force is what everything is. Yad bhutam cha bhavyam, all past, future are all the same. It is the same thing. Okay? Then he says, Yat annena atirohati. That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad we said, Annam brahmeti vyajanat, annadyeva kalvimani bhutani jayante, annena jatani jivanti. All those are coming even in the next, these are all in the Bhrigu. So, yeah, so even Brahmananda we saw that. We said tasmat anno aushadam uchyate ityadikam, we saw all that. So that's what it is saying. Tasmat virat ajayata, from that this virat came, which is this physical world. Virat ajayata, virajo adipurusha. So this purusha is the adhisthana for that viraj. Sajato atyarischeta paschad bhumi mata paschad bhumi. Anantaram the bhumi came. Ataha puraha. Then came all these living beings. All those are explained here. Tasmaat yajna sarvahutaha. Everything is become the ahuti of that grand yajna that was done. Sambritam prashadajyam pashun tan chakra vayavyan. The airborne. Vayavyan is airborne. Pashun. All the animals and the beast and aranyan, those which live in the wild animals, will in the forest. Gramyan. Basically talks about living human beings who are all domesticated and live in groups in villages and so on. All of them came out of it. That's what that mantra is saying. Tasmaat yajnat sarvahutaha richa samani jagjire. Rig came out of it. Sama came out of it. Rigveda came out of it. In a metaphorical way it is explaining. Whereas in Bhagavad Brahman it explains it in a different way. So the Samaveda came out of it. Chanda gumsi jagjire. Tasmat, all these chandas, whole Veda, the body of knowledge Veda come out of it. Yajus tasmat ajayata. Because Rig and Sama requires those meters. Yajus is prosody. That's why it puts Chandamsi in between and then comes Yaju. It's all pros order. So Yajurveda also came out of that. Then it says Tasmad Ashwa Ajayantaha. Horse is just a, several sacrificial, so they are using things related to that. All the animal kingdom came out of it. Ekecha Ubaya Dataha. 2 pairs of teeth. All those creatures with 2 pairs of teeth. Ubaya Dataha. That's what it says. Ekecho Baya Dataha. Gavo Hijagjire Tasmaat. The cow came. Tasma Jataha Ajavayaha. Goat. These are all related to sacrifice. So they are using those words in a very sort of a contextual way. Okay? Brahmano osya mukamasit. That Purusha's face happened to be Brahmin. Bahu Rajanya Kritaha. The shoulder is from Kshatriyas. And Uru Tadase Dvaishyaha. The thigh portion is the Vaishya. And Padbyam Shudro Ajayata. The Shudras came out of the leg. This is the most misquoted. People who have no job will use it, because if you take offense to this, there are indications that what is the presiding deity for the anus? What are you going to do now? You are so worried about the leg now. I mean, these are all very figurative actually. You have to understand it very differently. I have seen, this has been quoted all kinds of ways and say, see, this is inferior, that is because our mind is projecting us to a world. We'll only actually there are deeper meaning to it. I talked about it in the Gita lecture. Some of these, what it really means. It's not a simple straight meaning that, head is superior to leg. I mean, you can't say head is superior to leg. Or leg is superior to thigh. All these are, but anyway, all those are coming out of this. Chandrama manaso jataha. Right? From the Kashmir Purusha's manas came the moon. And therefore it became the presiding deity of moon. That's how the whole, is a very metaphorical way of actually explaining. Chaksho Suryo Ajayata. Sun came out of the eyes, so the presiding deity of eyes is sun, about which many times I have spoken in the past. Right? And Mukha Indrascha Agnischa. Indra and Agni came from the Mukha. Prana Dvayurajayata. So from the prana of that cosmic Purusha came this deity called Vayu. Nabhya asid antariksham. Nabhyat asit antariksham. The whole outer space came out of the navel. Right? Sishno Dyav Samavartada. From the head came the interspace. Dyav. The Dyav. Okay? and Padbyam Bhumihi and Dishaha. The directions and the Prithvi came out of the foot, and that's why the presiding deity of foot is Prithvi, and all that kind of things are there. This Prithvi is not earth. Don't confuse with that. That's different, and this is different. It's not that. I talked about it in one of the earlier lectures. Sureshwar Acharya's commentary on Taittiriya Upanishad he brought, where all these deities were listed. It has a different meaning. Then Tatha Lokagam Akalpayan. Then with this, the whole world was created. So like that it is actually going. Okay, so much about, we'll move because we are stuck here for a very, very long time. We can keep talking, but we will, move a little bit. So the next mantra says, there it said, Sokamayate Bahusyam Prajayayeti Satapotapyata Satapastaptua Idagum Sarvam Asrijata. All those are done. It has been created. Now it says, what he asked, Tadevanu Pravishat, he entered into it. So what is this entering into it? It is not entering into it. How can, one which without a second can enter into something? It is a figurative representation to say it started manifesting. It started showing up. It started showing itself up through these forms and names and so on. Right? It's like saying the fetus is formed, one day it started breathing after 20 weeks. Like that. So it is manifesting. That is the meaning we have to take. So when that Brahman, Tadevanu Pravishat, Tadanu Pravishya, only the child will be alive. Otherwise it will be stillborn. Please understand. Prakriti is there, Vikriti is not there. Both has to be there. Prakriti is there, Purusha is not there. If Prakriti and Purusha are not there, it will not work. So that is this Anupraveshanam. Okay? Tadanupravishya Sat Cha Tyat Cha Abhavat. Sat Tyat Cha Abhavat. Sat Tyat. There are a pair of opposites. I have colored it. That's why I have colored it. Sat, it became Sat, it became Tyat. It became Niruktam, it became Aniruktam. It became Nilayanam, it became Anilayanam. It became Vijnanam, it became Avijnanam. It became Satyam, it became Anritam. So there are about 4 or 5 pairs of opposites. And the Abhavat, that word is very, very important. It says Abhavat. It says Sach Cha Tyat Cha Abhavat. This single word Abhavat is an indication that Brahman is not only the Nimitta Karana, it is the Apadana Karana. It became, which means that is the raw material now. That Abhavat actually indicates that it became. That means it is made of this material now. So the Apadana is also Brahman. So far we talked about the know-how part, which is Nimitta. The Apadana is also Brahman. Brahman is the Apadana and Brahman is the Nimitta, which is what we did in our dream anyway. We became the Nimitta and we became the Apadana of our own dream. Right? So that's why the word Abhavat is coming. Sat Cha Tyat Cha Abhavat. So it became Sat. That means that which exists, which has existence, and that which is Tyat, which cannot be described with existence. You know what is the most powerful example of what cannot be described with Tyat? Your software. Software can only be felt. It exists by its effect. It doesn't exist like a material. So the pair has to be understood as in the world of existence. That is what we have to understand. In the world of existence, you will have both. You have material and some which are effect, not material. You have the hardware and the software. Software can be felt only when the program is running. Electricity can be, of course, felt if you put your hand. Otherwise, you have to feel it when the light is glowing. You can't see it. You can only feel it. So, feeling and seeing. So, that is how we have to understand this Sat and Tyat. It is not non-existence. We have now said everything is existence. Within the existence, it was everything. It had the entire continuum. That is the meaning of it. It became Sat, it became Tyat also. Anyway, we will see this in the next class. It's already 7 o'clock. So we will continue this in the next class.